Vaccine Minister Nadhim Zahawi, thank you very much for being with us this morning. I will talk to you specifically about the vaccine and the supply issues, but one other issue which is tied in very closely to what we've just heard and also we've been speaking about this morning is the discussion around quarantining those who arrive in the UK from various destinations. Can you bring our viewers up to date this morning, Mr Zahawi, on where we sit with that and those discussions?
Good morning, Dan. Yes, of course. Obviously, border policy we review all the time. We introduced the pre-departure testing a few weeks ago, and of course, the passenger locator forms, as well as the quarantine period of 10 days or test and leave early if tested negative. The government, now that we are making, and back to the vaccine deployment, real progress on vaccination of the most vulnerable. Of course, we'll keep going as we vaccinate the whole of the adult population, or those who will obviously be mindful of these variants. We acted very rapidly when the Brazilian variant was discovered, and of course, Portugal. The government is looking at, as the Prime Minister has confirmed, in the appropriate way, the Secretary of State for Health has been speaking to the travel industry last week
on this, because it appears that there are some in Cabinet, like Matt Hancock, who feel that that should be from all destinations around the world, and others, apparently like Grant Shapps, who are thinking it should be on the high-risk list.
Well, there's obviously lots of speculation about discussions in Cabinet. They remain private, and of course there will be a collective Cabinet decision on this. We'll all go out into the studios and communicate that to if they are having to come from outside of the UK into the Dan on that, because it would be completely wrong, not least because the decision has not been made and has not been communicated yet.
If we look at Australia, I just wanted to give our viewers some figures and to get your analysis on this. Australia, a country of about 25 million people, and throughout the entire pandemic, they've had 28,777 positive cases. Now, we had over 68,000 positive cases on one day, the 8th of January. We had 22,000 who go to hotels as soon as they arrive in the country from way back into last year.
Well, as I said, look, as soon as we discovered the South African variant and the Brazilian variant, we acted immediately. Grant Shapps rightly acted immediately on passengers travelling from those countries in January, on pre-departure testing, and on particular countries where there's highest risk of some of the new variants entry. I'm not a virologist or an epidemiologist, I'm a chemical engineer, but we are very good at holding inquiries, and we promise this, and we will learn all the lessons of all the decisions made, but each and every person who's vulnerable. That's what we're doing with the top 4 categories. That's 88% of mortality. If I'm confident we will meet, then that's first step, that's base camp. Then, who do we prioritize in phase 2? Maybe workers who, through no fault of their own, will listen to the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, the experts, are making sure we vaccinate the country. We've made really great progress. The NHS found.
What is your message to those who are thinking about booking a holiday in the future?
It's too early to begin to speculate on summer holidays. I think we got to 500,000 actual jabs of the first dose in a single day. Break that link between infections and severe infection, hospitalization and death. It is a race against death. The best way to stop this virus, this new variant, which is so much more infectious, is to not allow social contact. It loves social contact. Just remember, that's how the virus spreads. 37,000 people are still in hospital.
You talk about the vaccine. You talked about your qualifications earlier as well, and you are the vaccine minister. So I'd love to get hold of that Pfizer vaccine.
Absolutely, and I pay tribute to Pfizer and the Chief Executive, Albert Bourla, who not only has committed to supply the United Kingdom, which I'm confident they will do, but also Europe and the rest of the world, because they, from day one, when they started this for Pfizer, which is coming from Europe, we will get our deliveries, as will the European Union.
Have you had guarantees of that, Mr Zahawi?
I'm very confident with the team. We talk to them all the time. They're confident they will deliver for us, yes, and also good news. So I'm confident we'll meet our mid-February target, and then we'll keep vaccinating beyond that as we vaccinate the whole of the adult population, or those who will accept a vaccine we will meet our targets. We have 367 million vaccines from 7 different manufacturers that we have.
It's good to hear you're confident, but you seem to say that there haven't been guarantees from Pfizer those numbers will arrive. Can you tell us this morning How many doses have arrived at the...
Don't publish and sort of issue or forecast, because they move around. Batches have to go through rigorous safety testing, both by the manufacturer and by our regulator, the MHRA. And so I went before the Science Select Committee and I explained why I'm confident. And again, I repeat that because I think you were slightly sort of extrapolating from what I said, that I'm confident Pfizer will deliver for us, as they will deliver for us and the European Union. And I'm confident that AstraZeneca will deliver for us, and Moderna, the 3 approved vaccines. And as vaccines come along, we will get more volume, millions more, in the weeks and months to come. And so I have every confidence we'll do this. Look, no one is safe until the whole world is safe. Global effort to vaccinate some of the poorest countries around the world with £1.3 billion of commitment. The thing to do now is not to, go down the sort of the dead end of our people. That's my priority, is to protect the British people, to protect the United Kingdom, but also to protect the whole world, because no one is safe until we're all safe.
Just a couple of other things I wanted to mention to you this morning. I'm sure you, those from a black and minority ethnic background, to make sure they take it.
Yes, we are recording, and we will be very soon publishing both ethnicity and also by work type, because I think it's really important that we focus on those communities that have vaccine hesitancy. I mentioned that 85% figure of people on the ONS survey of vaccine. The 15% does skew heavily towards BAME communities. We're working across government. We have £1 million of local champions working local government to identify the communities and the community leaders who can take that vaccine confidence message. Over 150 community leaders and faith leaders. And so this is really important. I'm someone to infect, and that's what we need to stop.
There's one other question about schools and the return of schools. I know you can't give us a sort of definitive answer, but...
So the Prime Minister's made it a priority that schools are the first thing to come back. With primary schools, and the infection rates much lower amongst primary school children than secondary schools. I think it's 5 times higher in secondary schools. I think once we see the national infection rates continue to drop, we still have 37,000 people in hospital with the first thing that we do, and we will give notice. We'll give notice to teachers who are doing an amazing job, even now as we speak, because they are open today, and of course children that are vulnerable. But we will give notice of at least 2 weeks to make sure they can prepare to get their schools open.
Appreciate your time this morning. Nadhim Zahawi, the Vaccine Minister, thank you very much for talking to us.
You are watching Breakfast. Sally's here. I mean, it's not even 24 hours and they know who they want to replace Frank Lampard. Is that right? You make Thank you very much.
Brilliant. I hope you continue to do it.
We'll let you get back to that family of yours. Thank you very much for that, Harry.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
4 seconds in, 8 seconds out.
Yeah, it was calming, wasn't it? Stay with us. Headlines come up shortly.
Interior Design Masters with Mayor.
Threatens controls on exports from Europe, but the Vaccine Minister tells Breakfast there's no cause for concern.
And they're confident they will deliver for us, yes.
Going nowhere. Decision expected today on hotel quarantine for British citizens returning home.
I'll have all the details later in the programme.